I'll just have a cup of coffee, then I'll go. Thought that
Welcome back to Coffee Time. Welcome to another beautiful day in Armenia, Colombia. And I've got a couple guests today. In a couple minutes, we'll have them on. I think you're going to find this very interesting. First, I got a question about this hat. And I thought it was a real good question because I really didn't know much about it. So I looked it up. I think it was last year I was in Salento and I wanted to have a good hat for these videos, like I had that Ecuador hat. And I saw this hat, and I don't know what it was about the hat because there was a whole bunch of them, but I was drawn to it. I don't really wear hats except for this video, but I like to look at them. And so I got this hat, but I didn't know anything about it. I didn't know if it was a good one. It was a little pricey, but it wasn't at the top end. It was more than I could afford, but I got it. So what's going on with this hat? Well, this hat is actually a genuine aguadeño. And that's a famous, well-known brand. Now, if you know anything about the hats in Ecuador, the Panama Hats, which are actually from Ecuador, they're made from a toquilla straw. They're very soft, very flexible. This is also made from toquilla, and it's ultra fine, which means it's really a good hat. Now I understand better why it was a little on the pricey side. The thing about this hat is this design, which originally 150 years ago had a crown that was twice as high. That was the fashion in Venezuela and in Colombia. They were very high crown. They're not made anymore, and they're very sought after by collectors. They're worth a small fortune. So if you ever run into one, hang on to it. So, hello from Costa Rica. So 150 years ago, this Ecuadorian who had moved to Colombia, like so many of us do, he had an Ecuador Panama hat, toquilla style. And he actually tore it apart to show the local craftsmen how it was made, how the weave was, how you take the plant and you turn it into this kind of straw, the sulfur that comes off it, how it's bleached white. This one is actually not white, but typically there will be white in the manufacturing process. And so the roots of the aguadeño came from the style and the construction of the hats in Ecuador. And the whole secret of it is the toquilla straw, which makes it very soft, very pliable, but it has a memory. So if this thing, moves down for any period of time, it will go back to its originally constructed shape, which is steamed into it. Now you can change the shape by using steam again, but lovely hat. It's a very nice hat. So that's that. So I said we got a couple guests. Now, you all know Robert. Sandy may stop in. I don't know. I didn't hear from her till the very last minute, so I don't know if she's coming on or not. But Robert, who is back to the United States, to Florida from his trip to Medellin, one of the first flights back to Colombia, he's here in case there's some questions. I know there were some questions. I had a really busy week this week, and this week I fell short on replying to a lot of things that were asked of me, and a number of them were about Robert. So Robert has come back, but he has a friend. He plays this frisbee golf or frisbee football or frisbee rugby, or I don't know, frisbee something or other, and he's got a group of people that also play frisbee rugby. And one of the people in that group is a Colombian girl, Paisa girl from Medellin, who now lives in the United States. So he thought, and I agree, it might be interesting to get a different perspective from me coming here. What do I see? She went to the United States. How does she see the United States? what does she miss about Colombia? I know what she's going to say about that. She's going to say the fruit, the dancing, the parties, the people, the football. But, you know, we'll let her speak for herself. And let's see if we can get them online here. Ah, that was easy.
Hi.
Hello.
You guys see me? How are you?
Can you hear us?
I hear you good. I think
Perfect.
a car must have just gone by because there was a lot of background, but it went away.
Oh. Okay.
So we're good.
Again.
There, did it again. But it's not bad. So your name is Estela?
Yes, Estela in Spanish. You know, the
Estela.
E sounds A.
Estela.
Estela. Uh-huh.
Okay. And you're Roberto.
Uh-huh.
That's me.
Okay, so I want to get right to it. You were born, raised in Medellin,
Yes.
and you went to the
Yes.
United States. How old were you when you went to the United States?
Well, that was just 3 years ago, and I'm 37.
Oh,
Thank
well,
you for asking.
well, yeah, I probably should have just said, how long have you been in the United States? Sorry about it. Well,
Yes.
you could say, I'm not going to answer that, but I'll tell you how long I've been here.
It doesn't matter. Don't worry. I lived also in Mexico for 10 years.
Yeah, but we won't.
So,
We might do that on another day because I
Okay,
know there's
sounds
people
good.
that are interested. But I will ask you, between the three, this will be my Mexico question. Do you prefer the United States, Mexico, or Colombia?
To be honest.
I love to live here. I'm sorry. I know you guys like to, visit and you see our countries like very peculiar, let's say. Like you like what you see. It's so different to you guys. And it's also the same for me. I like the way you guys live. It goes like this.
Opposite way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's pretty typical. For me, it's a little bit different. I was here many years ago, and there's some particular things about it that I really did like. But I love the United States. It's probably, as a country, my favorite country. And there's places in Colombia I'm really not crazy about, but I love this coffee region. It's this coffee region that draws me to Colombia.
It's very pretty. You were talking about Salento. Salento is awesome.
Yeah, it's very
The
nice.
mountains, the way they live. It's a very pretty environment.
Yeah.
Also the palm trees and all those things. Salento is awesome. And all the cafeteria. How do you
Well, what
say
I
area?
Yeah.
what I like here
Coffee
is
Coffee
the
region.
people in the coffee region are unique. Even in Colombia, they're just very honest and very friendly, very down to earth people, and I just love that. So, what do you like about the United States?
Well, you guys are very organized. Puntuales. How do you say that in English?
Punctual?
Yeah. I like that. So for me, it's been like I find my people, let's say. I'm, a little bit more structured, like
Yeah,
formal,
organized, structured, yeah.
organized. So for me, is the place that I feel good in. Could be difficult because you guys are not very warm, let's say.
I'm hot right now. I'm sweating. I'm not
No,
hot.
that's
But because we're different, so I try to to do my thing. So when I say hi to Robert, I say, hello, Robert, how are you doing?
That's why I like her.
yeah.
I try to bring the good thing that I recognize from my people to the United States, and I enjoy what you guys have here.
Yeah, in the United States, we have our space, and you shouldn't step into our space, right?
Too
And
bad. I already made a lot of mistakes in that here.
and when I first came to Colombia, in the United States, I'm more like that than most people. So I'm very leave me alone. Just don't bother me, don't touch me, and when I first came to Colombia, everybody is coming up and hugging me and kissing me, and my skin's crawling. And I my first instinct was to punch them, but I didn't. I didn't. But it was driving me crazy. I hated it. I've gotten much more. I've gotten much more used to it now. I'm okay with it. I don't punch anybody, but yeah, that's a huge difference.
It would be, it could be kind to say, "Can I hug you?" Or, "Are you okay?" If it's just a matter of.
I don't mind if the pretty girls are kissing me. That's fine.
If they're not pretty, so then he has a problem.
Yeah.
So are you going to stay in the United States? Are you going to go through citizenship, or what are your plans?
Well, yeah, I'm waiting. I have my work permit and I'm waiting for my green card. Yeah, I like United States. I don't know for how long, but I'll be here for a little while.
Well, it's good to have both. In a couple of years, I'll be eligible for citizenship here, and I figure I'll probably do that. And because you can have both, there's nothing wrong with having comfortable options.
Oh, so you're going to have your citizen in Colombia?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
That's great.
Yeah, I really, I love it here. I'm at home here. Okay, so I asked you between the three, United States, Mexico, and Colombia. So now I'm going to ask you between Mexico and Colombia.
Okay, so Colombia is definitely my country, right? But I enjoyed very much being in Mexico while I was there. There's so much culture. And, the people is also very colleague. Is that a word?
Very warm.
Warm, yeah.
Just like in Colombia.
It's very similar.
Something different.
Looks different. I don't know why Colombia. Well, I don't know. It looks different. It is different, but we are very similar as I see it. Right.
Did you enjoy the difference in language
between
Colombia and
Spanish,
Mexico?
In Colombia and Mexico, it was
fun.
Very hard for me.
It's fun though, right? Yeah. Funny words.
Yeah, Mexico has a lot of fun words to learn, and it's sometimes complicated. For example, I can say mamado means in Colombia, it's like you're tired. And then when you say mamado in Mexico, it's someone that is very
pumped up, like strong.
Built.
Very well built.
So many words are very, it makes
word.
different. Being, expressing yourself. That's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, and Mexican people are also very, they like albur. So when you make mistakes, they like to laugh
double meaning.
Everything's
got double meaning.
So that was something that was kind of difficult to manage. But you learn.
Well,
everything.
I don't know. You have the same thing in Colombia. You see, in Ecuador, Spanish is Spanish. It's just, it's just Spanish. They're not big on a lot of slang. But in Colombia, there's a lot of words that have double meanings here, or there's a lot of words that just have a new meaning, and there's so many that are like sexual connotations.
In Colombia,
Colombia.
Wow.
It's like there's so many words
Give me an example.
I'm not going to. But coming from Ecuador to here, a word is used one way, and here it's like a sexual body part, or it's like, what? It's very confusing.
So if you think that happens in Colombia,
it's even more in Mexico.
You need to know that in Mexico is a little bit more. So it was, for me, was a huge thing.
Where in Mexico were you?
I was in Mexico City.
I
don't know if because I'm also a female, so guys like to do weird jokes.
No, there's definitely more. There's more in Mexico.
I don't know, but I think it's
part of the culture. It's a little different. Everything's double entendre.
So you cannot say anything simple because they will be thinking in something else. about it.
Yeah, and it depends where. Mexico City is much more liberal than most of other parts of Mexico.
You're completely right. Yes.
Yeah, but Mexico City, it's too big. It's too polluted. For me, those kind of places, that's why Medellin is too big and too much pollution for me.
Okay.
Now, I just saw a clip in Medellin right after you left, Robert, and it was one of those days where it was all smoggy and down in, so it's returned. You were there on the way it used to be. I mean, it was perfect. There was just blue skies and white clouds,
Yeah,
and
it looks like I
now
left out. For sure.
and now that smog is beginning to return, and it's too bad. If it wasn't for that and the fact that it's so big and the fact that there's so much traffic, it'd be a great place to live. Now, what do you miss about Colombia?
Well,
Your mother?
of course, my mother. Not much. She comes very often. So, and we have a good relationship, and now we can talk by phones, and so
Video,
it's kind of the same thing. But yeah, Medellin is, the mountains in my country in general, they're very pretty. I used to miss the skies, like the whole sky over the horizontal line, let's say. And in Medellin, you always see mountains, right? So maybe I can kind of miss, the landscape in Medellin, the way they look, the way you see, like the horizontal is not just a line.
Horizon, it's different.
Horizon, thank you.
Yeah.
It's
got some character.
mountains and mountains all over. So maybe, and also you can see the city from places, right? So that's a pretty
a lot of beautiful
nice
views.
Yes.
Yep.
So that could be one.
It's interesting.
Friends
It's
also.
interesting, Lauren, because we just met maybe like 2 weeks ago, something. And what happened was, as you said, I've been playing frisbee with the same group of guys on the beach for years, probably like 5 or 6 years. And one of the guys who's really fairly new to our group said, well, I know this other person, and she's a really good player, and she's from Colombia, and I forget. We were supposed to play together or something, and I said, oh, well, because she lives closer to where I live than other people, and it was raining or something. I said, if you want, I'll come down and pick you up. And then we started texting, and I told her I'm headed down to Medellin, like tomorrow, I think it was.
Medellin.
And she said, oh, Medellin. And she says, well, I'm from Medellin. And she said, where did you learn your Spanish? And I said, well, I lived in Mexico City for 3 years. And she says, well, I lived in Mexico City for 10 years. And it was really weird because we had all these things in common. So we played frisbee this morning together, actually. And then I said, well, how would you like to be on this expat show with me? Because it might be interesting for people to listen to a Colombian talk about living in the United States. It was just serendipity.
So you're a frisbee rugby player too.
It's just frisbee. I do. She does ultimate frisbee, which is almost like American football, but with frisbee.
Oh, nice.
Almost the same rules. She's younger and in much better shape, so she can really run.
He runs too. We were at the beach this morning and we were playing so good. I don't know if you have people who watch you from Miami. Maybe they can go and visit us one time. We play in Indiana Street in Hollywood.
Yeah, we play up in Hollywood Beach. That's where I live. But anyway, so I just thought I'd mention that's how we met.
Nice. So is there anything else you miss about Colombia?
Yes, I miss her. Oh.
Yeah. I know what you miss.
Everything. I miss everything. I can't wait to get back there.
He was trying to go this week also. This month.
I'm thinking about going back again this month.
Nice.
So do you live here, Lauren? Or you
No, he lives in Armenia.
Oh, you live in Armenia.
He's been there for many years.
That's awesome.
Well,
I love Armenia.
I've been down here for, I guess we're going on 6 years now. 3 years in Ecuador and a little less than 3 years here. I lived in Manizales for a short time. I lived in Pereira a long time ago for not quite a year. And I've been here in Armenia for 2 years and something.
Do you like to walk? Are you? Do you know the El Tolima and you know the how do you call nevados in English?
Yeah, like I guess the mountains.
Have you been
Yeah,
in El Tolima or walking around all those whole thing?
I like to walk. I don't like to walk up mountains. You know, in Manizales, I avoided that, so I stayed mostly on 23. But it's, you know, it's like 3 miles long, maybe
Have you been to Manizales?
longer.
Yeah.
And Manizales is nice, but there's something about when I come to Armenia. I know what it is. I didn't for a long time, but talking about it after a while, you realize when I come to when I come to Armenia, or when I'm here, I feel like I'm home. And when I go to Manizales, it's a beautiful place. I like it, but I never feel like I belong there because I don't. I'm not. You know, they're very cliquish in Manizales.
Can you explain to me the word? Which means?
They're like a club. And that's for
People
other
stand around
Colombians
for
too. If you're not from Manizales, then you're not part of the club. But you could be from Bogota, but you're from Bogota. You're not us. And
Wow.
Manizales is a lot like that. And so it reminded me in Ecuador, gringos just stand out. You're treated differently. And, you know, you're not treated bad. You're treated maybe better than other people, but I'm not comfortable with that. And it always bothered me. And in Manizales, they're just more formal. But when I come to Armenia, they don't care where anybody's from. They don't care about that. Everybody's treated the same. I just feel very comfortable. It's a working city. There's rich here, but what you really see is working people in their jeans and their work shirts, and you know they'll dress up at night, but they're very open and loose, and they don't guard their words, and I like that. You know, I'm very comfortable with that. So that's why I like here. There's a lot of similarity to much of the United States here in this part of Colombia.
Why? Tell me.
Well, I'm from upstate. Who's interviewing who here? I'm from upstate New York, and where I'm from in upstate New York, it's very rural, and people are just like I described. They're very friendly. They help each other constantly. If your car's off the road, every other car will stop to see if you're okay, if you need any help. You know, if you look confused, people will come up and ask you, are you okay? I mean, I've told this story before, but one time I was walking in downtown Rochester, and it was really cold. It gets very cold up there, and there's snow on the ground, the wind's blowing, and I'm kind of walking fast. For whatever reason, a wallet fell out of my pocket. And I don't know, it's typical. There's probably a couple $100 and there was money in it. And I hear through the wind, I hear somebody yelling, and they're trying to chase me down on this icy sidewalk. And they're sliding, and, you know, they're yelling. And so with the wind, it was kind of hard to hear. But finally, they got my attention. I stopped, and I wait for them to come up, and I didn't know what was going on. They chased after me through that wind and ice and everything to give me my wallet back. Hey, you dropped it. And that's not an unusual thing there. That's a common thing there. And the similar type of thing here, the people are very similar in that way. They're very honest, hardworking. And so that part of it, I feel at home.
That's great. I'm glad you're telling me something that I give a lot of value to the people who live in Armenia. What do you call the Armenia? Armenians?
Armenians, yeah.
Armenians. Uh-huh.
Yeah. Well,
that's good to hear.
Their slogan is amable.
Amable. Great.
Is there anything else you miss about Colombia? How about food?
Well, I like a lot arepa. And
But I always
but
thought
you know, because we live here in
we have a lot of
Miami Beach,
Colombians.
so I have a lot of Colombian restaurants around. I don't even if I go to the supermarket, I can find
some
arepas and
products, some Colombian
yes,
products
the
and stuff.
cheese, you know,
The
many
fruits.
of the products. Yes, the fruits. So I feel like home here.
Yeah, one nice
It's
thing
a little
about the
bit
United
more hot. Say that it again.
one nice
Sorry.
thing about the United States is so many of the supermarkets have very high quality food, very high quality fruits and vegetables. You know, people say, well, they go to Ecuador and they say, oh, the fruits and vegetables are so much better. No, they're not. they're not. You know, if you walk into a Whole Foods to the fruit section, that stuff is perfect. And it's not perfect because it's chemical. It's perfect because they hand pick and they won't put anything out unless it's perfect. Now, here, some of the stores are like that, but a lot of the stores, they just put it all out there. And one thing I hated in Ecuador is if you go to the supermercado and say you bought strawberries, they won't let you put it in the bag. They do it because they've got this sleight of hand where they'll put the rotten strawberry in the palm so you don't see it, and they'll put a big red juicy one there, and they're sliding in all these rotten with fuzzy mold strawberries, and you can't see it until you get home. I hated that. Now that doesn't happen here. I've never seen that, but there it's almost like a game. You know, it's like see if you can catch me. I
Like
hated
a cheating game.
Yeah, so you know,
That's not good.
it was very cheap, but then you throw half of it away, you know. Here it's just it's not like that, but I do miss some of the fruits in the United States where here, you know, it's
Like
you have
what?
you really have to look for good fruit that's not bruised or damaged or something like that.
Do you go to regular supermarkets or you go to like a neighborhood one?
Both. It depends. Now, for strawberries, I don't buy them in the supermarket. I'll buy them on the street. They're always better on the street. Plus, I can point to what I want; they'll give it to me. In the supermarket, it's like they're always white. You know, it's like there's only half of it's red, and you know they're hard. Good morning from Florida. Yes, Mexican is the best food of all three countries. Yeah, but in the United States, you get Colombian, Mexican, and everything else.
Yeah.
What part of Here's a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
What part of Colombia does
Robert like the best?
Yeah.
I haven't traveled that much in Colombia, but so far, I would say Armenia and Medellin. I've been to Cali, I've been to Cartagena. They're just way too hot, very pretty, but way too hot for me. It's like living here in Miami, but with no air conditioning anywhere. And Medellin and Armenia are quite similar from what I can tell. It's, you know, the short amount of time I've spent in Medellin. The weather is pretty similar. So for me, if I were to do a base for retirement right now, those would be my two top choices. But I intend to travel all over the country. That's my intention. So we'll see what happens. I haven't been to Bucaramanga. I haven't been to any of the other coastal cities, although I would assume they're going to be just as hot. I mean, all of Valle de Cauca is just, all those towns are just in the same valley. They all suffer from that same heat. It feels like you should be living at the beach and you're not at the beach. So if I were going to be that hot, I'd want to be probably on the coast somewhere, you know.
Well, I highly recommend for vacation is you spend a week in San Andreas.
Yeah,
have you been?
For me, that would be a little bit too I mean, I would have island fever, I think, after a little while. It's just too isolated to live on an island. No. And I'll go, but
week vacation, I said.
Oh, week vacation. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Definitely.
Yeah, it's an amazing place. It's Jamaica without the cost.
About the Jamaicans. What do you think of San Andres? You like it? It's beautiful.
Yeah, it is. And also the towns. Well, we have a lot of colonial
colonial towns.
towns. And they're all over Colombia, and so you can travel a lot. Colombia is very easy to travel. The highways are not the same because of the mountains. We've been building a lot of tunnels.
Tunnels, yeah.
Yeah,
Tunnels, yeah.
inside. They cross the mountains.
Yeah.
So that's making
It's getting it
easier. Yeah.
La Linea just opened.
La Línea.
La
Yeah.
Línea, sí.
Yeah.
That was a huge mountain. So you gotta go before you had to go.
Way up top.
Yes, and then go.
Over
I
the-
know.
Yes.
I was on it before. I haven't gone. The tunnel just opened last month, I think.
Do you know how much it cost?
No,
Just to have an idea.
I'll be going sometime probably in the next 2 or 3 months. I'll go back to Ibagué, do another video there. But I'm mostly because I want to see the tunnel. I'm very curious because it's huge. I mean, it's really long. And
How long is it?
I don't remember now, but it's 10, 15 miles, something like that.
Wow.
And what's fascinating, well, it's taken 10 years, I think, building it, but it was on time. It was on time. That's Colombia for you. It's like they're never late. Well, they're late in their personal lives, but when there's a construction
Project.
contract, they finish. So
That's great to hear from you.
you said traveling is easy, but you have to be patient because, for example, I live about 15 miles from Manizales, but it takes about 2.5 hours.
Why? Oh yeah. All the curves. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's the thing in Colombia.
So
But maybe that's where you are, because in the place you live, these cordilleras in Spanish,
The
they
hills, the mountains.
they divide. So
Yeah.
you are in the thing. That's the place. That's why it's so rich, naturally.
Yeah.
I don't know.
and that's why,
Yes.
and that's exactly why I have this breeze every day, day and night, every day of the year. I have this breeze because it comes up the one mountain range and accelerates it, comes across the valley, and then I'm at the base of the other mountain range, and so it's caught by that other mountain range and brought back up. So I have this amazing breeze day and night, every day of the year. It's this beautiful air-conditioned
It is,
feeling.
it is.
It just never feels
And it's
hot.
natural, completely natural,
Yeah.
because those places are just very natural. They're
It's so
not
hard to
built.
explain to people who are not familiar with microclimates or with the Andes Mountains. Yeah, I've been to Colorado, but I never experienced the particular kind of climate that we have here in Armenia. And it's the north part of Armenia. When you go to the south part of Armenia, all of a sudden that wind dies down. You can have some hot days there, and it's just a mile away.
Okay.
But you
Yes,
come to the
yes,
north,
because you go down.
and it never dies. It's just always going. It's fantastic. Now, you live where it's just flat and sandy. In Florida,
No, you're
except for
talking
the-
about Medellin?
No, Florida.
Oh,
No.
Florida. Oh, yeah.
And-
Well, we
and-
have the
Except
pantanos.
for-
What is it?
except
Swamp.
for the beaches,
Yeah.
it's really ugly.
Goodness, I'm so.
It's an ugly
know,
state.
I enjoy so much what I'm living here. Maybe it's because I'm growing up.
Well, also,
that's-
you only live a block away from the beach. So
yes, I live a
that's-
block away
you're
from the
pretty
beach.
lucky.
Exactly.
And I have this bike trail that I can go to the south and
Bike
or
trails,
to the
yeah.
to the north, and I do. I have a very active life, and this place here is like a small town. Miami Beach, where I am, is not South Beach. It's just like in the middle of something. So I don't know. I enjoy it very much. Maybe right. But everything is in our heart, in our mind. If you're not happy, you cannot enjoy.
Everyone's happy in
anywhere
different
else.
places.
Well, that's true.
You cannot enjoy a place. That's what I
So the
think.
gringos, we like Colombia. How do you like my shirt here, Lauren?
Oh, I love that shirt. That's
Um,
great.
This is what channel?
Okay.
Yeah,
Run
Gringos we like
Colombia.
Colombia, and the Colombians like Gringolandia. So
So maybe we can change.
Okay, leave it to these guys. They called me out on La Linea.
8.6 kilometers long. That's still pretty
Okay,
long.
so you know, when I'm shooting off the top of my head, I don't remember. I just know that it was long, and so that's about 5 miles. So it's half of what I said. Kill me, shoot me.
No, it's okay. It's okay. The distances in Colombia are different than here, and it's also because of the perception, the country, the way we live is completely different. You guys here, the spaces are, how do you say this? Like they are.
There's a lot more
Stretched.
open space. A lot
Yes,
more open
it's
space here.
completely different the way we
Well, the
live.
distances aren't different, but you're exactly right. It does feel very different. You know, when I
Yeah.
go to from Armenia to Pareda, it's a very wide 4-lane modern highway. It's perfect road. It's smooth. It's comfortable. It's beautiful scenery, and there's not a lot of winding. When you get to closer to Pareda, it begins to wind a little, but it still takes about 40 minutes to go from Armenia to Pareda. And what is it? I don't think it's 10 miles away. I think it's less than 10 miles, maybe 7 miles away, but it takes 40 minutes on this beautiful road.
That's because you're on a burro.
Yeah, having a burro.
You're driving a donkey. You gotta get into a car next time. Speaking
Yeah.
of car, is your car in your building yet?
No, not yet. The battery was dead. The guy came and he picked it up. And I told you I was really busy this week. So he's been sitting on it. I did check with him last night. I remembered it about 10 o'clock at night. So I sent the message not thinking he would answer it until today or Monday. But I wanted to do it before I forgot, So I said,
Make sure the security guard doesn't put sugar in your gas tank
yeah.
after you yell at him.
No,
You
that
move
was
from
here.
one building to another.
That was here.
Oh, it
Yeah,
was there. Okay.
It wasn't over there. That was here.
Okay. All right. Good.
So I asked him, did the battery charge or do we need to replace it? No, it's under a warranty. It was brand new when I got the car. I bought it to go in, but then it sat for 6 months, and it just pulled. It'll do that. Even if you've got a Lamborghini, it's going to go dead unless you have the trickle charger hooked up. So I have something in common with Lamborghini and Ferrari.
That's the only thing you have in common with them.
So he came over on his motorcycle and, he checked it and said, well, maybe it'll charge or you'll get a new one, of course. So he took it. So I asked him last night, did it charge up? And he messaged me back like 2 minutes later and said, yeah, it charged up, should be fine. But if you have trouble, we'll get you a new one. It's okay. Well, thank you. So I'll probably have him bring it, maybe tomorrow I'll go over and see if I can get it over here.
All right. That'll be an accomplishment.
Armenia to Pareda, 19 miles. Is it 19 miles or is it 19 kilometers?
I think it's 19 miles.
Because everything here that I look at is in kilometers.
Like 19 kilometers. When I went, it seemed longer to me, but like you said, it could just be.
Yeah,
Okay. Here's a Stony. Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate the contribution.
What is the best airport to fly to? Eje Cafetero?
Well, Armenia is the only airport that that's international. So Armenia is the only one that you could fly into directly from the States. So
What about Pareda? That's
international. No, you got to fly in from Bogota. They only have flights to Bogota,
Okay.
Medellin, and somewhere else. I checked Bucaramanga this morning too, and Bucaramanga is technically an international airport, but the only flights they have that come in are from Panama City. So,
okay.
remember we had that question last week, but I did check on it. So it is technically international, and so any other flights are always going to require a stopover. And that's the same with Pereira, and that's the same with what's the other one, Ibagué. I don't know if Ibagué has an airport
Okay, so I think the viewers are figuring out that I've lost all perception of distance.
31 kilometers. We got all kinds of answers here. Okay, 19. Oh, okay, 19 miles and 31 kilometers. There we go.
Yeah. Okay. Well, my point is still the same. It still fits my point. So, fit in whatever numbers you want. It's 40 minutes to go less than 20 miles. It's still, it just seems like a long way. In the United States, 20 miles is nothing. I mean, I used to commute a lot more than that every day to work and back and not even give it a thought.
Yeah, so 15 minutes maybe or less.
Yeah, so it's just a very different thing. Now, around Cali, there's a lot of straight, flat roads, and
Yes,
it can
in
be a
Cali
little
is completely different of what we're saying in
Yeah.
here in the Eje Cafetero, of course.
That's in a
Because
straight
it's just
metro
hot,
boom.
so yeah.
right.
Just
Plus,
go.
here we're talking about nice people, and it's beautiful, and it's refreshing. And in Cali, it's kind of a nasty, hot, dirty.
I hope you don't have viewers from Cali.
There's some beautiful women there though. Can attest to that.
Well, that's
Good dancers,
I
too.
think that he's always aware
That's
of the
dancers.
situation.
Good
It's all-
salsa dancers.
Yeah, with him, everything is based on the women.
Dancing?
For
No,
him.
that's not true.
For him, yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah. Cali is very hot also.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
So
And
there's-
dirty.
Yes, it's
It's
because of the city. The land determines. Is that correct?
the what? The mines?
The land.
The land.
The way the land is,
Uh-huh.
build the people that lives in the thing. It's like Medellin.
Makes
for
the
example.
people, yeah.
Makes the people. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. So in
Medellin
Cali,
is kind of like this. So that's why you have all this pollution over here, and the people is different. They are kind of like this. I know
See,
he looks like it.
in
Good
Cali,
point.
in Cali, it's really hot, and so people are grumpy, and it's too hot to get up and do anything, so they just throw the garbage on the ground and don't worry about it.
Okay.
Oh,
So, and where you
boy.
live in Armenia, how do you will describe the people in Armenia?
Says they're
Very,
nice.
very energetic. I just had last week I did that, and the week before, they're out from the COVID. Everything's back to normal, and you have all these people that volunteered. They just went out. One person went out, and a couple more followed, and then more. Next thing you know, there's hundreds of people out planting flowers in the middle of the road, in the center. They're planting flowers. They're cutting. Now, there's people that work for the government that do this, but they just wanted to. We're free, we're out, and they just want to beautify they're so proud of their city here that nobody's paying them to do this. They just go out and do it. Now in Cali, they just all go out to put their garbage in the street.
That's too bad for them.
No, I'm serious. I
You can
I
get out
joke.
and collect some garbage.
I
She was
joke
out
a
this
lot.
morning. She was collecting garbage on the beach this morning. I said I should send you down to Cali.
I have a daughter. She's 9, and she's in the Girl Scouts. She's at Mexico.
She's in Mexico
She's
now.
in Mexico at the moment.
Right.
And the Girl Scout had this activity to pick up garbage. There is a manglar. I don't know, mango,
A mangrove.
a
Yeah.
mangrove. So we were doing, as you said, free work, but it's a volunteer work. And, I like to see, my eyes love the pretty places. He likes to see pretty women. I like to see pretty places.
Yeah, and much
I
of
will-
Colombia is like
I
that. Yeah.
And I
Now,
like to see pretty women in pretty places too.
Okay.
Sorry, go ahead.
Okay.
I joke about Cali a lot, but one of the things that seriously about Cali is they put their garbage out and it takes forever for it to be picked up. So it'll line the street and the dogs will come and it'll rip it open and the trash is everywhere. and it could sit there for 2 or 3 days before somebody comes along. But by that time, it's time to put it out again. And so it's like this perpetual trash heap all over the city. I mean, there's areas where it's not like that, but a lot of the city is like that. And it just, yeah.
Lauren, be careful. Don't say that anymore.
Don't.
Well,
You have viewers from Cali.
Caleños are gonna get you.
Yeah,
I know,
so
but
mad at you.
well, pick up your trash. Don't blame me because you're throwing the trash on the ground. I've been Cali, I don't know, probably a dozen times.
If I recall, one of the main drags to get into Cali has a huge trash dump to get in there, so that doesn't help with its image at all, and that's always lined with trash on the main highway, right off the main highway.
Will you fly to Romania directly from Miami?
No, the only direct flight to Armenia, the only international direct flight is from Fort Lauderdale. I think it goes 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.
Are you sitting on the highway?
No, but we're sitting close to a road. I'm sorry.
Well, they need to park their car, go watch football or something, and quit driving by.
Oh, wait a minute. My Cowboys are going to be on here.
Oh, please, 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 please. Please.
1 o'clock. Bills, 3-0. Good job.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens today.
Yeah. Any other questions for us?
Probably. I've been doing so much.
Can I ask you questions? Are you living there? Like what he wants to do, like your retirement?
Yeah, he's my idol. He's the one that went. He's
inspired.
Yeah, he's the one that inspired me. He's retired and he lives in Colombia and he's living the good life. I'm
not living here like Robert plans to live here. He plans to have a harem, all these girls. He's a party guy. He's a young guy. He likes, and me, I'm just
Thank you for letting me know. You're so kind.
I'm kind of an old, decrepit hermit that, I got a cat.
Okay.
So it's like he's still alive, and I got 1 foot in the grave. So, it's very, very different. But outside of that, yeah.
Is it because you're 23 or something like that?
It's ha.
That's what you're saying. It wasn't my words.
Because
why are you saying this? Explain to me.
I'm just an old man.
Oh.
I'm just an old man.
He thinks also. Sometimes I feel the same.
You feel like an old man?
Well, like an old woman. Sometimes.
No, but you still run. But when you're playing frisbee, you run like a teenager. So
but I'm almost 40. I'm not a teenager anymore.
She eats well and stuff, not like us.
Yeah.
So.
You mean she eats like healthy?
Yeah, healthy.
Well, I eat healthy. I'm very particular about the hamburgers that I eat.
That's good.
I won't eat just any hamburger.
Do you cook or you buy food around your place where you live in Armenia?
Both. Depend. I cook probably most of the time, but sometimes just easy to go get a lunch for a couple dollars, and they always give you too much, so you can bring it home, and there's your dinner. So for a couple dollars, you got your lunch and your dinner. So I do that sometimes, and they always delivered, but the delivery now, because of the COVID thing, it could not possibly be better than it is. And they have people. I just saw today. There's a family. They're making lunches every day for 3,000 pesos delivered for 75 cents delivered. It'll be like a pork chop and some rice and some vegetables, and it's not a huge thing, but it's actually probably more like what you would eat for a lunch. The lunches here, you could eat 2 or 3 times on the size of a lunch that, you know, a lot of these places have. You know, people talk about the United States and their portion, but here in Armenia, it's crazy, son. But like I said, it's a working city. And so people need that calorie. You know, it's kind of like the Amish and, you know, in Pennsylvania, they need those extra calories. And so the lunches, you know, they're very important to people that are out working hard. And, you know,
So
for me,
you eat like a working hard man, but you don't use all those calories.
yeah, it takes me 2 meals to do it. Now, Robert, it was funny because he sent a video clip of what was it, bandeja paisa?
Bandeja paisa. Yeah,
It was-
Oh, I saw
that.
it. I
She
saw it.
yeah.
That was
Huge.
enormous.
Yeah, and then he sends a clip where he's licking the plate clean. It's like, oh my god, oh my god.
I'm still feeling that. Believe me.
How can
Right?
you
I'm still
walk
feeling that.
after that?
2 weeks later.
Oh,
So
yeah.
can I ask you another one? So do you live in the city or you live like what do you say, far away?
The outskirts. No, he lives.
I live
close.
on the edge.
The
Do
thing
you
is, he
know
lives
anything?
geogra-
Do you know about Armenia at all?
Yes, I've been in Armenia.
Okay, do you know where Centenario or the Kalima Mall?
The Colima, sí, the Colima Mall. Uh-huh.
Okay, my building is attached to the back of the mall. It's actually 2 towers, and
Okay.
it's attached to the back
They're
of the
kinda new. I
Kalima
don't- You
Mall.
probably wouldn't
Yeah.
know the towers. Those are brand new.
No, yeah, but
So, I can walk indoors.
Yeah, it's like
to the parking garage.
city that is growing up.
Yeah. Yeah, it's always growing. It's funny that when I first moved to Armenia in that last building, Provenza, there was a building that was under construction. And now that I just moved out, the building's finished, and looking at
Go fast.
video what I had there and where it is now, and that was one of the slowest built buildings I've ever seen here in Armenia. I don't know what took so long, but it took forever. You know, maybe COVID slowed it down, but from the time I moved in to the time I moved out, which was 2 years, it went up 7 stories. A big
Do you
building.
have good friends, people you know, you trust, or have you made friends?
Yes. Yeah, this last 6 months, I was pretty isolated, and I didn't text very much. I mean, honestly, I got pretty depressed, and I just kind of stayed to myself. And you know, but it's changed, and that move helped a lot. And I'm happy. I'm feeling good. I'm back in contact with people I know. There's several people that want to come see your new place, and so. The connection has been made again. But at the time, I just didn't want to, I'm stuck here, leave me alone. But the move brought me alive.
There's a question here asking in what barrio of Medellin are you from?
Oh, I didn't see
where
that.
I was born, which barrio?
El Estadio, no? That's
Okay.
where you guys live.
Trece.
Yeah.
Camino
I was-
Trece.
No, I was born and raised in Calasanz. This is very near El Estadio. It's a very pretty, it's a middle class area.
I love that area.
And also because it was near to the Estadio, so I was always linked to sports. And my grandfather, everything was around.
Revolved around sports. Yeah.
Yes, and football, and my mother did volleyball, my aunt did basketball. It was like always, I don't know.
Some sport.
Frisbee, rugby.
And then I met, I learned how to play ultimate frisbee, and I was part of the first teams.
The national team, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so she was part of the national ultimate frisbee team.
Ultimate frisbee in Colombia start with a bunch of girls, and I was one of those. So it's fun, yeah. So the answer of that question is El
Calasanz?
Calasanz. Uh-huh.
Calasanz.
And then I lived in Envigado. Envigado is very near Medellin. It's also good because it's more like a town, but it's in the area
Yeah.
metropolitana. So
It's
kind of
become very
good.
popular.
My family moved from Calasanz. Now they're living in El Poblado. And now they're moving to Rio Negro.
Oh, they are?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Well, yeah, it's kind of,
Mom didn't tell me
because the city, it's becoming very crowded. So,
Yeah.
People who's from there, it's like in every
Moving
place.
further
Yeah,
out.
they move to quieter places also because, well, we grow up. I won't say we get older.
They're getting older, they want quiet place.
Yes. So, yeah. Medellin is very free. I enjoy Medellin very much, and I used to love to dance salsa. There were some bars around where you were, and you told me, yes, it was
Well, you
nice. Let's
you
say
bring up
childhood and juventud. How do you say that?
Youth.
Youth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
you bring up a good point about sports. Sports is really loved in Colombia. So many people are directly involved with sports. It's not just in school. Once you're out of school, so many people are part of something. Robert, I don't know if you ever met her, but that friend of mine that was a nurse, she actually moved to Bogota. So I haven't seen her, and we've actually lost touch. But we're pretty good friends and hung out quite a bit before all this happened. But every Thursday, um, she had a rugby game or rugby practice or rugby game every Thursday night.
Wow.
And a couple times she came to see me after the game, like around 9:30, and she would have her rugby clothes on. She'd be covered from head to foot in mud. It was hilarious.
That's great.
Delicate girl by day and
Keeps your
covered in
spirit
mud.
alive.
But
We
it's
were so happy this morning. You go ahead and walk a little bit more. I know you will find some friends.
I tell him the same thing. I make him walk with me when I'm down there.
what are you talking about? I'm out now. I was before and I am now. It was only during COVID when I really couldn't. There were so many restrictions. I couldn't keep track. Like they kept changing it up. They'd say, well, you can go every other day, odd or even with your cedula. And so, but they would constantly change the schedule. And I can't tell you how many times, probably 4 or 5 times, I get up, I'd walk down to the bank and they'd say, oh, it's not your day. I said, but, oh, they changed it yesterday.
Crazy.
Oh my God, come on. And it was happening again and again and again. And it was very frustrating. But the worst thing was every time I would go out, I would see more people on the street begging in desperation. And I would see more and more places closed forever.
That's so sad.
And it was just so depressing. My favorite places to go were being closed down forever. And so I just, the hell with it. I just ended up just staying inside because everything can be delivered. So, but now it's different. Everybody's back out. Yesterday, as a matter of fact, I left and went to the store and back. I'd completely forgotten to put my mask on. Nobody said a word. I didn't even realize it until later that day. I went to grab my mask to go down and I couldn't find it. And then I realized I hadn't been wearing it.
That's so funny.
But not a single person said anything. When I came in and out of this building, the guards, they didn't say anything. They got the hand cleaner and the alcohol tray you step in. Well, they actually picked that up yesterday afternoon. No more alcohol tray to walk through.
No more foot tray.
Oh, yeah, okay. The whole thing was kind of ludicrous anyway. But that thing you have around your neck, that doesn't do anything.
Yeah, I read some articles about that, but I'll say whatever. The thing is that I need this would be easy for me if I have to
Yeah,
act,
they'll let you in the
Right.
store at least, even if it doesn't help you.
act that I have something.
Yeah.
Right.
Because
Plus,
otherwise, I'm
if
always,
you're-
goodness, where I left the mask? I don't know where the mask is. So it's
Yeah, and if you need to rob a bank, you'll be ready.
yeah, and
I
it's
won't do
very
that, but thank you. For
it's
this.
very difficult to be active in those other kinds of masks. It's very difficult. You know, they get so sweaty, and I don't think they're very healthy. I think they're, a breeding ground for
Yes.
bacteria, actually. But anyway, it's over.
Yeah. It's not over, but we have to live with it. Is what I think. And our life cannot stop this way. It's been very difficult, as you were saying. Yes, it was very depressing for me also. It's just a difficult way to live,
All of us,
inside your place, not meeting people. I can't say how it was, but I think I was depressed too.
Yeah, a lot of people were, but no, I was special. So we'll give a shout out here. Another beautiful place north of Medellin.
Sebastian is saying hello
Saludos.
from Bello.
And they
Uh-huh.
Yeah, Bello is very pretty.
Bello is
It's
bello.
at the end
Yeah,
of the valley,
Oh,
Medellin
okay.
Valley. Yeah.
it's at the end of the transport or the train too.
Yes. It's like another city over
The end
there.
of the world.
Yeah,
The end of
It-
the Medellin world, let's
Yeah.
say.
but it
And
it
it's
is a
pretty.
beautiful place, and I don't hear many people talk about it. But if you don't like to be in the city with the traffic, that's a really good option, I would think. It's less
I think
expensive.
people who lives in Bello are the workers,
Artist workers.
Medellin workers.
Yeah,
That's why.
A lot of workers.
So all the people come here to Medellin and they live at the end.
Ask
of the
Sebastian
day.
what he thinks.
yeah.
And
We call
practically,
them bedroom communities.
Bedroom
bedroom
close to the
communities.
city.
Yes. And they also, from there to that part of, the country, so then they have a lot of places to enjoy. Like a lot of,
Countryside and
yes.
a lot of open spaces.
Yeah.
When
Very
is
pretty. And it's warmer, Medellin goes like this.
right?
So like this. And
When is
Bello
Roberto coming back?
Ah, Danny, I'm coming back by popular demand. No, I think I don't know.
This
I'm
month.
seriously thinking about maybe coming the end of this month or early part of next month. I'm going to look at some prices for some flights because a couple of things are coming my way, are going pretty well for me. So I may head back down there if I can get the time off of work.
Are you coming here?
Don't know. It'll either be Armenia or Medellin. I haven't decided yet.
Yeah, I think you got the Medellin bug.
I think I may go back there again because 4
It's
days,
pretty-
5 days in a big city like that's not nearly enough. There's a lot of stuff I
No,
still want to
it's
see.
not. It takes a while. Actually, judging any place, it really is difficult, even for a few weeks. It takes a while to really
Sure.
get a sense of what's going on, because most places you go to at first, except Cali, they're like, "Oh my God, it's paradise." It's like, but then the longer you're there, you start to get a more realistic view. And
I'm
you
interested.
saw Medellin on its very best behavior. And
I'm interested in your
Best behavior.
because you said the weather.
no
was really good.
pollution, no traffic.
I'm really interested in your trip to. I can't wait to hear what you say about Bucaramanga because I'd like to head over there sometime too and see it.
Yeah, I'm going to have to find somebody to go with me. I got a message this morning from Mark.
There's a town in Bucaramanga. The name is Giron.
You don't?
So pretty.
Yeah. What
Yeah.
about Bucaramanga itself, the city? Have you been there?
Well, it's kind of an Armenia situation. It's a small city. You guys can enjoy.
Do you remember if it was warmer, or don't remember the temperatures?
It could be warmer than Armenia.
Ah,
But maybe if you have some people from there, or yeah.
Well, Mark got a hold of me this morning actually, and said that he's got some issue that's come up, and so he can't do anything or go anywhere for several months. So he's kind of stuck in his apartment for a while.
Oh boy.
So he can't go, but he said that, you know, the whole plan was based on the points for the Hilton. So he said that, you know, if I'm ready to go, that me and somebody else, he'll call and make the reservation. And he said that he can do it for 5 days. So, because it's 4 days, and then the 5th day is free. And
I'm on my way. I'm on my way. When do you want me down
I'm
there?
packing.
he says it's a beautiful hotel. He says there's on the top floor, there's, you know, there's an area and a pool and all that stuff. You got a jacuzzi in the room. He says it's just a beautiful Hilton. But I can't go until after the 21st. I've got obligations around here. So I would like to go this month, October. But if I do go, it'll probably be like in the last week of October. But
All
we
right,
won't be
I'll
riding
hook up-
together.
I'll hook up with you and see what you're doing.
So I may have the car ready by then, but if not, then I'll just take a bus. It's kind of a long ride from here to there, though. I probably 10, 12 hours, I think.
Oh boy. Wow.
Yeah. I could fly, but I'm not that rich. I'm a poor boy.
Did you say that you did start your driver's license testing studies or something already?
I did, but then I had to stop and I'll pick it up later. It's complicated. It's something actually I want to talk about at another coffee time, but they put the brakes on saying, hey, wait a minute, you should be able to get your U.S. license approved. There actually is a process for it.
Oh.
And so, they canceled everything out and they sent me to Transito with the form on my phone and all this information. I translated it, and it's absolutely, there's an agreement signed during World War II where they'll exchange each other's licenses, but there's a process and it goes through an approval process. It takes about a month and a half. So I go to Transito, they're closed. So I'm asking around because there was no information on the window about when they're going to be open. And it looked like it had been closed forever. So
It's the same here.
So I finally got a guy, and he said
Everything is just
he has
crazy
no
still.
idea. He said that they closed because of the COVID. There's absolutely no word on when it's going to open. Don't know why, because everything else is open. The thing is, they direct you to go online, but you can't do this process online. You actually have to go to an office. So then I find out that I have to physically go to an office to begin this process. So I may go back and do the classes anyway because it'll actually be quicker. But then again, the difference in price, it costs $500,000 to do the process, or you go through the classes, it'll be $1,600. So yeah, I don't know. I haven't decided yet. But like I said, I was so busy this week with other issues that it wasn't really a big thought. What do we got?
Okay.
Can you buy water distillers in Colombia? Water distillers.
The need.
You mean like filters that
Like
go on
filters.
the tap?
Oh, maybe that's what he's
Or,
saying. You can, but well, depending on where you are. Here in Cali, I would. You don't know what you're going to get in that water, but here in Armenia, I drink it out of the tap.
Yes, Armenia has a very clean water. You know,
Yeah.
Armenia is in the mountains, so the water is just from the mountains. It's amazing.
It's
Yes.
amazing water.
In Cali, I will do the same. I agree with you.
Yeah.
In Medellin, sort of.
Yeah.
They have a really good company. The company that clears the water and the energy and all those things. It's a very good company.
Yeah, they do a
They,
water treatment there, so it's safe, but it has to go through the process. Here, Here they do kind of. It's just filtered, but there's no chemicals. They can just filter it. We're very lucky here, you know, and I hope it stays that way. The water is just basically it's just spring water. It's mountain water.
That's one huge difference between Colombia. This is how we start this program between Colombia and Mexico. In Mexico, you shouldn't, you never, you won't, you please do not drink water.
Yeah.
In Medellin, I feel safe. Like you said, in Armenia, let's say, I don't know what about Cali, but in Mexico, you please do not.
Yeah.
Not even ice. You know, in the bars, if you ask for a drink and they put just ice on it, I don't know. Please.
Yeah.
Don't do it. Don't drink it.
Yeah,
it's those eyes come from a good source.
Well, you know, they call it Montezuma's revenge for a reason. Yeah, and in Mexico, another thing about Mexico is it. We lost them. What happened? He'll probably log back in. You want to siphoning off at its boiling temperature. Another boiling point, you get different substances. You can get anything here. So without knowing, there's nothing that I've seen that you can't get. You got kicked off.
He's gonna put us back.
Nobody kicked you off.
We got kicked off. I don't know if it was our signal. Can you hear us?
Yeah, you're back to normal.
You're freezing a little bit.
Oh, maybe it is your signal. Well, I won't know until I actually review this back. Looking at mine. Mine's I'm on full strength, and I'm showing
ours.
I'm showing the right frames. I have this set at 30 frames per second, which may not seem like a lot, but for video, it gives it a good basic speed. And I'm running at the.
We're gonna try and switch to Wi-Fi. So if we get for a second.
You have Wi-Fi? Home center. If you mean the distillation, well, that's actually. I would think that's something you could even do on your own, but I'm sure that those things are available. But to know specifically, I would have to ask. There are places in Colombia that need clean water, particularly places around the Amazon, and so things like that would be necessary for some of the villages. So, oh, that's funny. I can hear you, but you're frozen. Oh, there you go. Someone from Cali is in charge. I'm sure that's the case. Stoney, thank you again. I appreciate it. Yeah, poor Cali. Just to be serious about it for a moment, because I don't want people to have their heads explode. There's some nice things in Cali. And when I talk about my view on things, my taste, my opinion. People have different tastes. I wouldn't want to live in Florida either, but they love living in Florida. You're
talking about us.
Yeah, your picture's frozen. I think your internet connection is struggling. Can you hear me?
Yes. Can you guys hear us now?
I hear you. Yeah. You're real choppy.
We switched to Wi-Fi, so hopefully this will stabilize.
You see the comment?
Someone from Cali is in charge of Miami internet connection.
Okay. I told you.
Oops.
Boy, I hope some Caleños don't listen to this broadcast because we're all going to be in a lot of trouble.
Yeah. Well,
Maybe they can speak from, from Cali themselves. They can see better things.
there you
As you
go.
were saying,
People can come on here and tell me how awesome it is and why.
Defended their city.
of course.
Yeah.
As I
and
told you, it's like the happiness of the heart, and then you see.
I did a video once about 4 things that I really dislike about Cali. And this guy comes on, he's from Cali, he's Colombian, and he wrote me it was kind of on the borderline of really nasty note. But I wrote back to him and I said, well, it's just my opinion. It's how I see it. Well, you've never been there. Well, I've been there a whole bunch of times. But then he said in a response that all of those things were true. The 4 things that I said, they were all true. So I said, then what are you being upset about? I mean, I'm not making anything up. I see it. I go there again and again and again. It's always the same thing. And I happen to not like. Now, if you like garbage in the street, then you'll love Cali.
If you don't mind.
So we stopped talking after that, but I think he said that by accident. He was just kind of steamed up and those things are true, but blah, 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 blah. It's like, well, there you go. Thank you.
Yeah. It's okay. It's okay. We're getting better. Or they will better eventually.
It's rarely people from either Ecuador or Colombia that give me a hard time. It's almost always people from North America that get angry because I say anything that's negative about. It's like it's very condescending. They're coming to the defense of the poor indigenous people of those countries because they can't defend themselves or something like that. It's always a condescending thing.
Weird.
And I just had one, and I thought about showing it here today, but I'll probably do it in an upcoming video, where this woman gets on and she just excoriates me for the thing that I don't like about South America, the bureaucracy, how stratas, how people want to feel important and you got to call them by their title, and people thrive on that. And it's mostly in Ecuador. It used to be Colombia, but not so much anymore. So I do a video on that because it's hard for me to come up with anything I don't like, because I love it, but I don't like that. So this woman gets on and she's just ripping me a new one, and the typical, well, if you hate it so much, why don't you go back to the United States? You're ignorant, blah, 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 blah. And then a guy comes on from Colombia and he said, you're exactly right. I'm in the United States right now, and the difference is night and day. And I always hate that about, in Colombia. And it's like, well, thank you so much. Yeah. It's like, I'm not making it up. All right, what do we got here? Cali salsa is great. I have 2 friends from Cali. Sorry. Well,
yeah.
Cali,
people in Cali dance amazing.
Yeah.
They have the rhythm in their blood, and they speak very peculiar also, and
their salsa is really fast. And if I were playing the devil's advocate and I were Lauren, I would say, well, the reason they dance the salsa so fast is so they can walk around the garbage fast, so they can step around the garbage. They dance.
No, it's because nobody has a job, so they're all barefoot, and it's so hot they have to.
Oh boy!
No, it's because they have a story with salsa and they create music.
It's a beautiful.
It is the salsa capital of Colombia. That's true.
Yes.
And just so you know, salsa caleña is its own style of salsa, which is a whole category of salsa.
People
and
learn
it's a
here.
really beautiful
Salsa.
Style of salsa. It's a very, very fast.
And
the steps are much
elegant.
faster, and it's very interesting. I like it.
Now, do you know where salsa was created?
Well, maybe.
I would say New York. New York.
It was.
Cuban Puerto Ricans in New York.
It was New York City. Colombians, Cuban, primarily Cuban, Puerto Ricans, Colombians in New York City. It started up with, it actually started with the jazz clubs, the Latin jazz clubs.
Yep.
And out of that came salsa. And then it spread back to the countries. It didn't spread in the United States because, well, in those days the U.S. danced, but they don't really dance anymore. You know, it might shuffle around in one spot or something, but you know, we don't dance. We don't want anybody close to us like that. But
No.
it went back to their native countries, and so it exploded in Cuba, and it exploded in Colombia. But then all the changes came from Cuba and Colombia back to New York City. So the development of salsa has actually been, in the last 20 years, almost exclusively Colombian. There's so many ways of salsa that it's almost different dances. See or no?
Yes, yes. I dance freestyle salsa. I try to move. I move. I don't try because I see you guys trying. I do move with the rhythm of the salsa without knowing the
You've been
academic.
in Gringo land too long. You're turning into a gringo.
Tito Puente. Guys, I gotta go. I need to do some stuff.
Okay.
So it was nice to meet you, Lauren. Thank
Okay.
you for having me, and thank you
We'll
Robert,
be in touch, Lauren.
to invite us. And
Okay.
so see you. I'm glad you're happy in Colombia. Say hi to the people in Armenia. It's awesome. I used to visit a lot Armenia when I was younger.
It's a nice city.
And it's very pretty. And Salento is amazing, and the mountains over there, and these countries. I remember them. I think they're very pretty.
It's
And
beautiful
the
here.
weather, I love the weather, and the people. I know some people from Armenia. Maybe I can give you some contacts, and you will feel like family. But they will be very Latinos, and I don't know if you would like that. So I don't know, but I'll try to contact you with them. And if you go to him, I'll give you all the contacts to you. So see you. Thank you for all the people that
Thank you,
who's
Lauren.
watching us. And I gotta go.
All right. Bye.
Ciao.
¿Te vas de aquí?
No, I'll be there. That's my friend. She's waiting
Oh,
for me.
okay. All right. So I guess that's it for me, huh?
Yeah, well, it's
Anybody
been an
has any
hour and a
questions?
half, so I'm gonna shut this down for today. Don't have a lot
Okay.
of questions going on, so
All right.
we'll go watch the Bills, whoever
Good
they're
luck.
playing, Raiders, I think.
Yeah. All right. Have a good one.
Ciao.
Have a good day. Bye.
Okay, we're going to wrap this up. If I'll give you a minute if you've got any question for me, but basically it looks like we're going to give this a wrap. It's already been a while, so we'll do a countdown here. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. There's about a 10-second delay. Okay. All right, I think we're good. Thank you all for coming. Next week, Sandy will be back. This just kind of popped up. I wasn't expecting it, but I didn't want to miss out on it. It sounded like a great idea. So, and then I didn't hear from Sandy until just before we went on. And I told her she could come on, but I think she had other things to do anyway. So thank you all. I appreciate it. Thanks for the contributions. Don't forget, we got a merch channel and Grand Colombia Live, grandcolumbia.live. There's all the information that people tend to ask. One more. Is that a good hospital in Armenia? Yes, it is. Now, there's hospital rankings, and the one in Armenia doesn't come up on the list, but small cities tend not to. There's 2 big hospitals in Armenia. One's in the south, one's in the north. I'm told the one in the south is not all that great. And I'm told the one in the north is just your typical, normal, well-equipped, well-staffed, modern hospital. I haven't been there, had no reason to go. So, you know, I don't know firsthand, but people here really speak highly of it. And some of the people, like my ex-landlord from Bogota, we were talking about it one day, and he's from here, but he now works in Bogota. And he was telling me that it's outstanding. He says it's better than some of the hospitals in Bogota. So it doesn't hit on the list. I think Manizales has one hospital on the one of the top hospitals in South America. But I don't know. I don't know how those lists are comprised, but the thing is, in the US, there's, you know, how many are top hospitals and how many are average and how many are marginal. You know, it's probably a similar type of thing here, but if the people here, I've yet to hear anybody complain that it's a bad hospital. So I guess that's all I can say about it. And with that, we are going to end. So thank you all for being here. Thank you for all the support that you give. I really appreciate it. Losing my voice. I'll see you next week.